Hi everyone, it's Marco Brown. Is pornography going to affect custody and parent time determinations in your divorce? Let's talk about pornography use for a second. Usually when people think about pornography use or pornography addiction, they think of men being addicted to pornography, and while that happens, pornography use is actually pretty equivalent between men and women. So men tend to use pornography in approximately the same ratio as women use it. They just use it differently. So men tend to view videos and pictures for their pornography. Women tend to read stories, sometimes videos and pictures, but usually stories. So it's not just a male problem. We see this kind of across the board, unfortunately, in what we do. Men and women are using pornography, so this comes up quite a bit, but really not just a male problem. So keep that in mind. Now, the question really becomes, is this going to affect child custody and parent time? The answer is probably not, with a couple caveats. So pornography can affect custody and parent time if pornography use is criminal. So if it's child pornography, the use of child pornography, the viewing of child pornography, absolutely. If it's other criminal forms of pornography, yes, absolutely. It's going to affect child custody and parent time. But that usually doesn't happen very often. Then there is the addiction part of this. If somebody is actually addicted to pornography in the sense that they don't go outside, they don't have normal human interactions, they don't interact with their kids, they don't interact with their spouse, these sorts of things, they can't hold a job because they're viewing pornography all the time. Those are signs of actual clinical addiction to pornography. If that's the situation that you have or your spouse has, then very likely, yes, that is going to affect custody and parent time. Not because of the pornography use itself, but because of the fact that somebody is addicted to it and they can't control it and they can't watch their kids and they have horrible relationships with their kids because of the addiction. So it's an addiction kind of like any other addiction. If you have a gambling addiction and you're losing all your money, you're not sleeping at night, you're not interacting with your kids, that's going to affect custody and parent time as well. So that's really the takeaway here is, if it's an actual clinical addiction that's affecting human relationships and your ability to parent your kids, then yes, this is going to have a severe effect on custody and parent time. Now, I have to tell you that while pornography use, we run into it all the time in our divorce cases, actual clinical addiction to pornography in these sorts of situations where it really makes a big difference doesn't happen very often at all. I mean, not very often at all. So at the end of days, pornography is probably not going to have that much to do with custody and parent time. Now, that's not to say that this isn't a betrayal to the spouse who doesn't use pornography. It absolutely is. That's the way they feel about it, and that's absolutely correct. But when it comes down to figuring out child custody and parent time, it's probably not going to have that much of an effect unless, again, it's criminal use of pornography or there's an actual clinical addiction to pornography. So if you need help with your divorce, give us a call. Number is 801-685-9999, or check us out on the web, utdivorceattorney.com. Thanks, everyone.